Previously.
But once I realized that actually what I'm doing is a sin and I need to confess about it. And once I confessed, I felt so good, I felt so light that it actually made me a bit more happy in my soul. Let me put it that way.
Welcome to Radio Veritas TV.
You did something wrong.
Say it again.
Radio Veritas TV.
Radio Veritas TV. Okay.
Oh Lord, kumbaya.
You are watching Karibu Nyumbani.
Radio Veritas TV.
Welcome to the house of the Lord. And we are still here, learning more from Miss Debbie, our beautiful guest, and her experience. I'm learning a lot, and I feel like she was telling me that adoration, you don't have to always be before the Blessed Sacrament. You can adore God even where you are. So it was a beautiful experience learning from her. I'm learning also. I can say that I have got all the answers of the Catholic faith, and I'm learning from her. Now, I was curious about you as a professional nurse. And my question was to do with, did you now, since you are Catholic, are you bringing the Catholic spirituality to the hospital? Is there something that is happening on that note where now we have got a ministry that you are doing there for the church, serving the church and serving the state? Because as a responsible citizen, I know and I believe that is what you are called to be doing. So are you planning or are you thinking of something on that note, even when before you begin your work? I know you could be having chaplains and other people who are helping with the spirituality of the hospital, but you yourself, are you engaged in that? Are you praying for your patients? How are you relating to them spiritually?
Okay, I'm not a very outgoing,
Beautiful.
right off the mark kind of person.
Yes.
So, but I like I mentioned before, I do go to church before I go on duty, and that is the time where I actually then ask God for guidance, and I ask Him and the Holy Spirit to help us on that night.
Yes.
But so my praise is that Jesus grant me the wisdom so that I can make the correct decisions. Because my role at the hospital per se is that of a night matron. So I have to make decisions concerning the welfare of the patients.
Okay.
But ministry-wise concerning, I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
I work a lot with babies and with mothers who's after delivery.
Yes.
So I've slowly been saying that God bless you and your baby.
Beautiful.
And I've been saying prayers over the
Beautiful.
little babies
Beautiful.
that is there. But adults per se, I haven't really gone out and said, this is me, this is what I want to do. But we do say beforehand over, we say prayers for the day or for the night. Thank you, prayers that everything went okay and stuff like that. But that is basically where I am at now, where I'm able to say I pray for the people who's lost loved ones. I pray for the babies that is so small, for the parents, for safe deliveries. I've even gone as far as doing some research, and I found that Saint Gerard is the person we must ask for intercession for safe deliveries of mothers and the welfares of babies. Saint Benedict is the guy to go to avoid evil spirits.
Beautiful.
And and then there's Saint, I think I pronounce her name, Saint Daphne, that the lady for the mental, the saint for mental health, because we've got a lot of mental health. So I also ask for intercessions there.
Beautiful.
So and I've learned, like I said, I'm just newly into the faith, so I've learned about
You have answered me, Miss Debbie. You have answered me. You are doing the ministry. Maybe you don't call it that way, but it is big. It is big. I think even the Karibu Nyumbani is a program that you are doing also, because you are welcoming life. Yourself, you are welcoming life as babies are coming to this world. to this physical world, you are welcoming them and you are blessing them and you are praying novenas for them and you are praying, giving them to certain devotions, to certain things. That is beautiful. It's the ministry that I was interested in, and you are doing it. You may not be outspoken or you may not be what do you call this, extrovert type of people, but you are doing the ministry. Now I'm happy for you, Miss Debbie. Now there's another question. Before you left where you were, I wouldn't even specify where you were for the sake of our program here. But now I'm interested in, there were many suitors, many churches that would be saying, come to us, many spiritualities that are there calling you to come and join their fold. But since you decided to come to the Catholic faith, as a Catholic people, we are aware that people are deeming our church outside there not to be a spiritual church, a church that is devoid of spirituality, a church that is devoid of connecting with God. Have you received God? So what is your take on that? Is the Catholic Church a spiritual church, Ms. Debbie?
I think it's the perception of the person. For me, I think they are spiritual. Being in that quiet time, sitting there, being quiet and listening to everything that is happening, the songs that is being sung of adoration to God, I think that yes, there is spirituality there. I think it's your perception, and for me, I really feel the spirit. It's like, how can I say, on Monday, Thursday, Father then took the host and he actually went to put it in the side chapel for us for adoration. So me going down to actually kneel there in front of the host, it was like, this is Jesus, he's going to be dying tomorrow, Yes. So it was like, I felt that connection. I felt that he's there, he's comforting me to say that it will be okay.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's you as a person. And I think maybe because I was where I was and I am where I am now, I feel the spirit and I feel that, yes, you don't have to go and look somewhere else. You have to find the spirit for yourself. And you can find it no matter where you are, no matter which faith you want to. So I can't say that not being a Catholic, you'll be more spiritual than somebody that's a Catholic.
Beautiful.
Because I think that Catholics are very spiritual.
Yes.
They are in their devotion to Jesus, their devotion to Mother Mary. It's taught me a lot and made me realize that it's not only Jesus in this whole thing, that there's others that is also there to help you. You just have to know, and you don't even have to look for them because they are there.
Yes.
So that's how I feel. I feel that yes, Catholics are spiritual. They might not be talking in the tongues like what the Pentecostals would say called spirituality, but in the works that they do, you can see that there's spirit there.
Yes.
Yes. So that is how I see it, how I perceive the spirit of the Catholic Church.
And before I let you off the hook, can you say more about your connection with God, connectivity with God? How you connected to God? Because you're still on the issues to do with spirituality now. We're on the spiritual realms. Now, spirituality.
Hi, I'm Emma.
Hi, I'm Reese,
And we are Catholic and we go to St. Teresa's School.
Hello, my name is Nonzuzo Nkosi. I am a Catholic. I wasn't originally born a Catholic, but then I joined Catholic because I love the religion, and more especially as I went through it and then learned of their teachings, I began to love it even more. And also because of the way that I feel when I'm in church, there's this sense of belonging that I feel, this warmth, and I feel and I believe that it's the love from God.
Before I let you off the hook, can you say more about your connection with God, connectivity with God? How you connected to God? Because you're still on the issues to do with spirituality now. We're on the spiritual realms. Now, spirituality. your connection with God? That is the spiritual element.
I always felt that whatever happens in my life, it's God's will. I never questioned whatever happened. Before, when I just got married, that was lots of years ago, when I just got married, it was basically, they broke into my house quite a few times. Okay. And then after the third time, I realized, why should I get angry? It's godly things. It's worldly things. Yes. Why should I get angry and curse the people that broke into my house? That kind of thing. So then I realized, from then, I just said, whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to fight against it. I'm just going to say that it happened because God has got a reason why it happened. And that is the way I've been living all my life since then.
The Lord is given, the Lord is taken.
Yes.
Praise His name.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I never questioned. Lots of things happened to me, and I always say, no, what? God knows. Like, I was abused, and while in that abuse and all that, I just said, Jesus, help me. I might not know why it's happening now, but I will know afterwards.
Beautiful spirit.
And that is how I live my life. I got cancer, and I just said, you know what? God is going to bring me through this, and I went through it. Everybody said, didn't you question God? Weren't you angry? I said, no, why must I be angry? God knows why it happens. Maybe I wasn't on the right path, and He had to bring me back to the path. So whatever happens, happens. That is my view on God. Where God, my life is in your hands. Whatever happens, happens because you want it to happen. Yeah. And if I make plans, and I always say, God willing, this will be done. I'm going to be doing that. So like, I booked a plane ticket to go to Cape Town to visit my grandchildren, but I still say, God willing, I'll be leaving on that day. Because anything can happen in that sense.
Karibu Nyumbani. I'm fascinated by the spirituality that she is now espousing. The spirituality of someone who commends her life to the hands of God. More like, Father, unto your hands I commend my spirit. Whatever happens to me, it is your will, let your will be done. Yes. Sometimes we like that, and we want our wills to be the ones that are taking precedence over the will of God, that are now superseding the will of God. The will of God ought to be the one that is leading my life. Yes. No, I learn a lot from you, and I'm inspired. Someone who, when things are happening to her, you say, Father, you are the one who knew. Not people who want to know things as if they are the ones who are omniscient. Yes. God is the one who knows everything. Yes. As if people are the ones who are all powerful, but she says, God, you are the one who will take care of this thing for me. That is the spirituality. And you have answered me well. Spirituality is connection and connectivity with God. So, Miss Debbie, I've learned a lot from you, and I've got no doubt that the viewers there who are listening to this beautiful program of Karibu Nyumbani are also pleased of your sharings, are also pleased of what you brought to the studio today. We have learned a lot, and we thank you for this moment, and know that you are welcomed in the house of the Lord. I still have a question for you, Miss Debra Simons. And this question is to do with the people who are out there who might also need the same kind of roadmap that led you to this house of the Lord. Yes. So those people who mainly, you look at how we have been discussing. Mm-hmm. People who had so many questions, because you had so many questions, so many doubts, skepticism, people who were, to some extent, boggled in the mind, having so many unanswered questions. Mm-hmm. So to those people, the roadmap, how can they be found? And what is your encouragement to them, Miss Debbie?
I would say is get to know your faith more, learn more about your faith, and you'll find the answer within.
Yes, learn more, get to know more of your faith, yes. Learn more about your faith.
Yes.
Be curious.
Yes. Yes. That is what led me to where I am now today, and I'm very happy.
You know, even now, Miss Debbie, to give you a typical example, the church is still having a Thomistic school of thought. You know, we don't look at St. Thomas as someone who only doubted, but it becomes a genesis of you getting to know more.
Yes.
So it's called the Thomistic school of thought. You counter it when you go to different theological realms, where now your line of argumentation or your line of quest to know, epistemology, quest to know, your line of trying to know the truth begins with doubting first. So welcome to Karibu Nyumbani. You're on the right track. For you to know more, you ought to doubt. There's one philosopher of French descent, René. You have heard of him. You might have heard of him. Cogito ego sum, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. He reached that level by thinking more after doubting. So I see that line of thinking where someone of the mind thinking too much and doubting and skepticism comes in, and once the questions are answered, the person is back to the light of faith. So we thank you. We thank you for the roadmap. To those people out there who might be people of the mind, thinking much, having so many doubts, people who are skeptical about the church, you ought to be asking more. You may find that someone has left the church, and maybe it's because of little knowledge or not having answered questions, or because of skepticism, or because of doubt. Things that could have been cleared. Karibu Nyumbani. Now at this juncture, Miss Debbie, I say we had a beautiful session, me and you. We discussed our faith, and I thank you. I thank you for your contributions. I thank you for sharing about your life, your spiritual journey. I thank you for the upliftment that you have done. And I know to our viewers there who are listening keenly to this Karibu Nyumbani, when we welcome her to the house of the Lord, we are also welcoming you, and we are welcoming ourselves into this house of the Lord. And we thank you, Miss Debbie. We thank you for everything, for your efforts, for your endeavor to be here. We thank your family, those people who helped you. We thank you for your priests. We thank you for your parish. We thank you for your diocese. We thank you, and we ask you to keep on forging ahead with your faith. Do not lose faith. Even if skepticism can come again, even if depression can be there, even if the spirituality can experience desolation, don't despair. Always be a person of faith. Your questions can be answered through scripture, through spirituality, through encounter with the sacraments, through what? Through adoration. The Catholic Church is a variety.
Yes.
It has got so many spices. Yeah. Our spirituality is so vast. We don't have one type of spirituality. If you want the gong type of spirituality, you know you get it from the charismatic. If you need that one where you discern more, where you are contemplative, you'll also get it. Yes, the Catholic Church is a diverse church. And we thank you. We thank you for coming to our show. Karibu Nyumbani. To you, our viewers at home, after learning from the encounter and the life experience of Miss Debra Simons, we realize that out there could be people of the mind, people who are skeptical, people who have got doubt. You know, Jesus is happy to see that everyone is welcome back to his fold. He has demonstrated it through the parable that he gave of the prodigal son. He demonstrated it through the parable of the lost sheep, that he wants us to come back to the fold. And even when you listen to our prayers, most of our colleagues, especially during the time of Good Friday, they are asking all those people who could be lost, all those people who are out there, to come back to the fold, to the true fold of Christ. Now, Karibu Nyumbani Mwa, it is where we make you feel welcome. It is where we make you feel that you belong to this house of the Lord. So you might be having some questions, you might be having some doubts, you might be being skeptical about something. But there are people there, the Simons of Cyrene, who Jesus would send to you. There are those people who God will send to you to answer your questions. Just ask a question. Some people, they leave the church not because they have been seriously instructed in catechesis. Now, some people leave because they've got doubts. So you ought to be asking questions. Jesus is the one who said, knock, it will be open. Ask, you be given. Seek, you will find. Just ask someone close to you, someone who's staunch in Catholicism, someone who loves their faith. Ask them, any question to do with our credo, to do with the scriptures, to do with our belief system, to do with our theology, you may find that our theology, it has got nothing that can surpass it. It's the Church of Christ. Karibu Nyumbani. Welcome to the house of the Lord.
Karibu Nyumbani.
Welcome home.
Would you like to advertise on this channel? Contact us on the number below.